Hello, I'm Jong Jun, also known as Motor PD. In this episode, we'll be taking a spin in the KGM Musso EV, which is Korea's very first electric pickup truck. So, I've started by settling into the second row. My first impression is that the second row ride quality is not as uncomfortable as I expected. I'll get back to you on that and discuss it again after we've had a chance to drive a bit further. Apparently, this Musso EV is the fifth pickup model produced by the company, counting back to its SsangYong Motor days before KGM. KGM's strategy is to integrate all its pickup models under the Musso brand. The Musso EV is intended to be an urban electric pickup, while the Musso Sports will continue the rich heritage of a traditional pickup truck. So, let's now together discover the attractive features of this newly added Musso EV to the KGM lineup. Well, first of all, the Musso EV, despite being a pickup model, notably boasts a monocoque body structure rather than a traditional body-on-frame design. That's probably due to it being based on the Taurus EVX. Given that it employs a monocoque design, the seat position is surprisingly low, even for a pickup truck. A body-on-frame structure, which places the body atop a distinct frame, inherently leads to a higher overall profile. However, by adopting this monocoque design, it's hard to even recognize this vehicle as a pickup unless you specifically turn around and glance at the deck. Additionally, the rear suspension also utilizes coil springs, as opposed to the leaf springs frequently seen in pickup trucks. Despite that, it retains a maximum load capacity of 1,102 pounds. Thus, I anticipated that the damping force of these coil springs would be set quite firmly. So far, the ride quality isn't uncomfortable at all. Well, of course, it's not exactly what I'd call plush, soft, or particularly cushy, but having driven through urban areas and on highways, the second row ride quality is surprisingly better than what I had initially anticipated. Also, as previously stated, the low seat position reduces the sense of instability that often comes from a higher ride height. In terms of space, this car has an overall length of about 16.9 feet and a width of about 6.3 feet. The height is about 5.7 feet and the wheelbase is a generous 10.3 feet. It's odd, viewed from the exterior, the Musso EV doesn't appear particularly large, but upon entering, the interior spaciousness is actually rather impressive. The front row seat is currently set to align with the B pillar, and from this position, there are approximately 2 fists of knee room available. As for the headroom, it's about 1 fist. Even when sitting upright with a straight back, I have secured quite a generous amount of headroom here. Furthermore, the footwell isn't all that wide from side to side, but it does offer ample vertical clearance, allowing my shoes to fit quite comfortably. In the middle, it's slightly elevated, featuring an air vent above, 2 Type-C charging ports down below, and a small convenient storage space right here. At the rear, there's a handle-type headrest, which functions more like a grab handle than a clothes hanger. Further down, the back pocket features a 2-tier design. This provides enough space to comfortably store a smartphone. And this car can also be equipped with an optional sunroof, just like this. The heated seat button is positioned on the door trim, just ahead of the handle. It has 2 selectable levels, and the windows are double glazed, but not the rear ones. Oh, and this particular seat offers both reclining and sliding functions. Currently, it's fully slid to the rear. If I pull it all the way forward, like this. About this much. Before it was about 2 fists, now it's about half a fist, so that's the difference. Overall, the seat cushion is on the firmer side. While much of the door trim is made of plastic, the vehicle also boasts a sophisticated black headliner on the upper section, and even incorporates this luxurious suede material on the headrests. Moreover, the overall cabin quietness is quite satisfactory. The climate control is on right now, and in this state you can hear a slight electronic hum and the virtual sound. Since it's an electric car, naturally there's no engine noise from the front or exhaust sounds entering the cabin. To be honest, before I drove this car, I expected the second row ride quality to be really bad. But surprisingly, it's not bad at all. It truly feels less like I'm riding in a pickup truck and much more like I'm genuinely driving an SUV. You know how when we talk about pickups, we usually call them pickup trucks? However, the fact that this Musso EV doesn't have the typical ride quality or noise associated with a truck is a major plus. Also, the storage space on this side is quite well designed. Alright, now let's move in a line to the driver's seat and take it for a direct drive. Okay, I've now moved to the driver's seat of the Musso EV. The ride quality is definitely a bit better up here in the front row than in the back. Even when traversing speed bumps, the way the front suspension absorbs the impact and smoothly passes over is distinctly different from the rear. The rear, on the other hand, felt a bit more bouncy and lively. However, the front part of the car has a relatively more settled and stable feel. Since the cargo bed is completely empty right now, I suspect that if you were using it with a lot of items loaded in, the added weight would likely provide a noticeably different second row ride quality compared to what I experienced before. And earlier, I noted that the second row ride quality was unexpectedly quite good at lower speeds. I didn't get to mention this before, but when going at medium to high speeds, the ride quality definitely felt less smooth. But then again, considering the price, it's probably hard to expect a luxurious second row ride quality. And above all, in the second row, you definitely experience pitching and rolling sensations much more profoundly. For regenerative braking, you can use the paddle shifters to select one of 3 levels, or press and hold for smart mode. The level of regenerative braking also makes a difference in the second row ride quality. It seems that drivers unconsciously brace themselves when they take their foot off the accelerator pedal. However, it's difficult for passengers or those in the rear seats to anticipate this, which often results in a sudden forward lurch. So, if you have passengers in the second row, it's probably best to turn off the regenerative braking while driving. Still, it's great that they included the option to adjust the regenerative braking levels. Most importantly, it's equipped with an 80.6 kWh LFP battery. Its range per single charge is about 249 miles. With the leading digit now surpassing 400, I don't think it's a range that's significantly lacking by any means. And it's also officially rated for an efficiency of 2.6 miles per kilowatt hour, which is quite a decent level. Additionally, a battery management system, or BMS, is included to monitor the battery's condition. With a 200 kilowatt fast charger, it can charge up to 80% in just 24 minutes. It also supports V2L functionality. The current model is a single motor, front-wheel drive, 152.2 kilowatt class. It has 207 horsepower and 250 pound-feet of torque. Well, in general driving environments like this one, the performance isn't severely lacking or frustrating. However, for those who feel a pickup model simply must have all-wheel drive, a dual-motor all-wheel drive version will be released in May. The all-wheel drive model boasts a max output of 413 horsepower and 478 pound-feet of torque. I believe that expanding the selection to encompass both two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive models is indeed quite a sound strategy. Also, some of you may be planning to connect a trailer for leisure or various other purposes. It comes standard with a trailer sway control feature. It has a towing capacity of about 2.1 tons. And when you're not on regular roads but on rough terrain, for an SUV, things like the approach and departure angles are important, right? The Muso EV has a 19.2 degree approach angle and a 23 degree departure angle. Its ground clearance is 7.4 inches. The vehicle is equipped with two 45/60 R17 size tires. Naturally, when the road conditions are this smooth and favorable, the ride quality is quite comfortable. However, on uneven road surfaces, as we experienced earlier, there was a noticeable difference in the ride quality. However, considering the vehicle class and price, it's acceptable. Despite being larger than expected, the forward visibility, along with the rear side view through the side mirrors and the overall rear view, are quite impressive and satisfactory. However, it doesn't come with features such as a digital center mirror. If you put a cap on the Muso EV, your visibility might be limited. Also, recently the trend has been to make rear-view mirrors more seamless by minimizing the bezels so much that they're almost invisible. However, this particular area retains a somewhat outdated design. When you accelerate like this, you'd expect to hear an engine sound from the front and an exhaust note from the back, but the quiet acceleration feels remarkably different. The overall wind noise and its suppression are acceptable. However, in contrast, a bit more road noise tends to come up from the underbody. Regarding the drive modes, you access them by swiping down the screen. There are two options available, Eco and Sport. It's noteworthy that a comfort mode is not included. If you switch to Sport mode, the throttle becomes slightly more responsive with the same amount of pedal pressure. Even with regenerative braking set to level 3, the braking sensation feels relatively weaker compared to other cars. If I press the camera button like this, I can also check the rear view here. And the top-down view from the monitor is also displayed here. The Muso EV's design leans more towards an urban crossover aesthetic, rather than the rugged, robust look of a conventional pickup truck. Nevertheless, the bumper section has been appropriately redesigned to match the Muso EV. There are a total of 6 exterior color options, and you also have the choice of 3 interior colors. However, the C-pillar area on the outside is a bit thicker to give it that pickup truck feel. However, the header-like shape on the rear is primarily a design element rather than a functional part, so it's advised against using it as an actual handle or a convenient mounting rack. Also, for pickup models, the feel can change completely depending on how you modify the deck. There are also well-equipped customizable options, such as installing a hardtop, keeping it open, or adding a sliding bed, providing various ways to personalize your vehicle. When turning like this, you can definitely feel a bit more body roll in the second row compared to the first. And when the suspension and tires traverse over road imperfections or undulations, it doesn't feel like they're firmly gripping. Rather, it feels as if they're letting go slightly. And the interior features a 12.3-inch cluster and an infotainment screen of the same size, seamlessly integrated in a wide display format. The infotainment system utilizes KGM's recently implemented Athena 2.0. Additionally, for audio, an Alpine sound system is included. Should I just follow my inclination and simply close my eyes, pretending as if I'm asleep? The overall sound is pretty standard. However, the sound control button on the steering wheel doesn't offer the best tactile feel. I genuinely hope that these types of aspects will be improved in future iterations of the vehicle. And the steering wheel, similar to the Action, has the ignition key and auto hold buttons immediately below, designed to appear as if they could be turned. While it's certainly good to have these additional buttons in this area, I believe it would be even better to consider more functional enhancements, such as placing the drive mode control right here, for example. Most importantly, since it uses a monocoque body structure based on the Taurus EVX, not a body-on-frame, the seat position is quite low when you're in the driver's seat. I think that's the biggest difference compared to other pickup models. Moreover, since the Muso EV pioneers a new category of electric pickup trucks in Korea, the characteristic rough and less refined ride quality common in other pickups is completely transformed here. The KGM Musso EV genuinely offers a distinctly smoother and sleeker driving experience compared to other electric pickup trucks. I believe this is the competitive edge that sets it apart, as for the single motor. Also, the acceleration isn't very thrilling. I have a feeling that the dual motor version might show even better performance later. So, when compared to other electric SUVs recently launched, its marketability isn't exactly top tier. However, taking into account its nature as an electric pickup and its price point, I believe they've successfully achieved strong overall marketability. This has been Yong Won Jun from MotorPD. Thank you for watching.